Okay, welcome to video number 4. This video is going to be quite a long one compared to the others because I'm going to be going over the entire theme, sort of, how to customize certain things or change out certain aspects of the site. Um, you know, just a quick mention that, the main areas where you want to change out your hop link from my hop link to your hop link from ClickBank, the ClickBank hop link is all the banners. So your 468 by 60. These three, that's actually a banner, even though it looks like a YouTube video. These three, and that one, of course. And then there are some banners on the bodybuilding videos page. So I'll go to that quickly. Okay, so there's one here and one here. And then on the product reviews post, which is a custom post template that I created for this site, for this theme. So basically, this is a snapshot. The PSD, the Photoshop file, with this sort of Apple uh, Mac sort of monitor screen. Sorry, browser screen. There's a Photoshop file for that, but that is hyperlinked. Same with the Visit Site Now buttons and these graphics. So once there are 4 different graphics on this page. You can completely remove all this information if you want. You could use this type of post for a squeeze page for your own products. Basically, it's a post without the sidebar. Most premium themes come with pages without a sidebar, known as like a full width page. But I created a full width post mainly because I thought it'd be nice to have a post where it's just used as like a sales page, and posts show up in your RSS feed. So if you submit your site to RSS feed aggregators, then a post like this will be included. I'm pretty sure pages don't get included in an RSS feed, so that's kind of unique to this theme. And that's pretty much it. You can add AdSense to your posts, which I'll show you how to do with this quick AdSense plugin. And then I'll go over the slider, the image slider feature here, which is using a plugin called Slideshow, which is a premium plugin by the same guys who do Backup Buddy. How to change your thumbnail images. At the moment, this home page is just showing 5 posts, and you can change that by going to Settings and then Reading. And if you want to show 10 posts, you can show 10 posts or however many. But just keep in mind that these 5 posts are sticky posts, and these 5 posts are the only ones that have a thumbnail image. The reason why they're sticky posts is so that these posts will always be here on the home page no matter how many new posts you add. You can unsticky them if you want to change them, or if you want to add more thumbnail images and show more posts. You can show more posts here at the reading section. And so what I'll do is, and then of course I'll go through the theme options, and that's pretty much it. You can change the footers. You don't have to show posts, pages, and categories. You can have banners down here, maybe a 300 by 250 banner, or just regular text, have a message, or an opt-in form, whatever you like. You can feel free to do that. So what I'll do is I'll start with posts and just kind of work my way down the inside the blog. So if you go to posts, you'll see the ones that say sticky. If you want to unsticky them so that they are not always on the home page, you can just click quick edit and then untick the make this post sticky. So these other articles, they're not showing on the home page, but they are in the different categories. You can see the different categories that they're in here. The what I call a sales page post, if you will. Now, what I did here was I just took I did a screenshot of this particular ClickBank product, and I took this from their site so that there would be, when someone reads this page and they click through, they'll feel like they're going where they're supposed to be going. You could completely get rid of all this information. You can swap it out with a different product, add your own product. You know, you could buy a PLR product, for example, and sell your own product. You know, there's lots of stuff you can do. You can put an Aweber form or some sort of autoresponder form on here. Um, so in HTML mode, you know, you want to look for all instances of ClickBank, of the ClickBank hyperlink. So there are, like I said, there are 4. So there's one. So you want to swap that out with your hyperlink, with your hop link. It's confusing saying those two. Right? Okay. So it's pretty obvious. Just look for the hyperlink. Everything else is fine. You can leave it as is if you want to keep the sales page. Now, in order to have a thumbnail image appear on your post, like on the home page, or in this case, I also have a thumbnail on this particular sales post. Literally, all you do is click upload, just like you would, you know, in any type of post. But this particular theme, you just click upload, and you know, you can pick an image from your computer. Um, you know, if you have a JPEG or whatever, GIF, PNG, whatever kind of image. The thumbnails are set to 150 pixels by 150 pixels. You can change that dimension size if you want, but that's what I have set for this blog. And then once you upload it, it'll, you know, your image will go to your uploads folder, and you'll see the thumbnail here. And then that's it. Then you just update the post. So it's very, very simple to add a thumbnail image to your post. You know, oh right, let me show you another thing too, because like I said, this post, this specific post, is a unique post. I created a special post and added it to the theme, but then you also have to use a custom post template. So if you're going to use, if you want to use this theme on another blog of yours, and you want to utilize that feature of a post with no sidebar, then you'll notice this here in the bottom right, underneath post tags, called post template. If it was set at default theme, there would be the sidebar. So you got to make sure it says product review post, and then update settings, and then you'll get that post with no sidebars. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. You know, most people are familiar with WordPress, but those who aren't, you know, categories, you can change the name of the category or add new categories. It's up to you. Now, I'm going to go to pages now, but before I do that, I want to show you something quickly. Okay, so I'm not using, so what I've done with this particular theme, let's go to pages, is, sorry about that, go to pages, so you'll see up here in the pages navigation bar, home, about, contact, bodybuilding, but of course we have privacy policy and the sitemap. So I've excluded these two to show up here because I don't really think you need to really show your privacy policy and contact, sitemap links up here. So they're down in the footer. Just move this a little bit. Of course, they're under pages as well. Sitemap, privacy policy. But of course, you can use custom menus. So if you're familiar with custom menus in WordPress 3.x, then you know, feel free to use those. I find it a handy feature, but I didn't necessarily set it up on this particular blog. So going back to pages, because I want to show you the bodybuilding page. Because once again, you'll want to change out your hop links, which is here. Just look for ClickBank and here. And of course, if you want to change out the actual banner itself, then You can do that, of course. You have to upload a banner to your media file or clicking this icon. And then once you upload your banner, then you need the link to where that banner is located, which will most likely be somewhere in your uploads folder. Okay, so if you haven't get stuck with that, feel free to send me a support email. But most of you guys are going to know how to do this. The main thing here is just swapping out your hop link with your own, and then this is using the YouTube embed plugin. So all you really need to do, if you didn't want this video here of Arnold Schwarzenegger back in his early days, you can go to YouTube, and all you need, like here's the same video, but it's just to show you, all you need is after the question mark V equals, you just need this right before you get to the ampersand sign, you just need this information here. So that's what's kind of nice about this plugin, is you just need that bit there after the V equals. Oops, sorry, you can't see that. I apologize. You just need this bit here. Okay, so between the and question mark V equals and the ampersand sign, and then you go over to your videos pages and you just paste that in. You can set the size, the height, and the width. Obviously, these are smaller videos. I'd recommend leaving them those dimensions unless you want to have, all videos this size, which is 570 by 390. But the small ones are 270 by 200. So, you just need that sort of ID to the video. So that makes it kind of handy and easy, to replace videos. Let's see. Go back to the home page. I think I'll go over the theme options now, and then I'll go over the sidebar and changing out your hop links for the sidebar banners. Of course, you can add, if you know of a better or different muscle building program, it doesn't have to be ClickBank. Then you can obviously swap that out here, especially if they have banners. So, oops, I didn't want to go to widgets yet. Go to the headlines theme. Now, headlines is a Woo Themes theme, but this one's heavily customized. So, matter of fact, if you went to Woo Themes and you looked at their headlines theme, you wouldn't even be able to tell it's the same theme. This is heavily customized. So this is actually, in my opinion, it's a totally unique theme. Looks nothing like their theme, other than a few little bits. But other than that, these are totally unique themes. Right. So you've got about 12 different color styles. You might find that one looks a little bit better than the blue one. You can experiment. So let's put the gray orange. See what that one looks like. You'd be surprised sometimes some of these blogs do look nice with different style themes. So you can make your blog look a bit more unique than the next person who just sticks with the blue theme. So I think this one's used on the guitar site, but I guess because their fake tans kind of match this orangey brown, that looks good to me. That looks quite nice. So it's really up to you, but this is currently using the blue line theme. So once again, there's 20 different theme styles. Sorry, 12 different theme styles. You can upload a custom logo if you don't want to use the text. Now, what's nice about this site title is, you can change the size of it. So if you have a really long title and it starts to stretch underneath, I'll show you what I mean. If I go to, got all these different font styles. So I changed it to Malengo. Save changes, and you'll notice. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so if you have a big title or you change the font and it stretches, it's going to stretch behind, at least in Firefox, behind the banner. So you have two options here. You can either get rid of the banner and just have a nice long title, because some people like to have a really long title with other keywords. Change the font or change the size of the font. Just keep in mind, if you change the size of the font, let's drop this down to say 35 pixels. Update that quickly. Okay, so now it fits, but now it looks like it's moved up. It hasn't actually moved up. It's just that it's shrunk. So it's moved from sort of the bottom right corner towards the top left corner. So it shifts upward, but still the spacing here is the same. It's just because it's a smaller font. It looks like there's a bigger gap. Well, there is a bigger gap, but it's only because it's a smaller font. Um, that's pretty obvious, but I just thought I'd mention it. If you wanted to get rid of that banner, say you had a really long title, let's move that back to 50 pixels. Say you like that size header text, then you can click here, the top add, and you can just disable it by unticking the box, save changes. And now that font will go back to the 50 pixel size and that banner will disappear. Okay. Now some people might not like that banner there. Um, you know, it's really great that there's all these different fonts. Just you might notice that some of these fonts are slightly pixelated. These are using Google fonts, um, as opposed to QFont fonts, if you're familiar with them. So try to find a font that you're happy with. I'm going to go ahead and re-enable that. And to add your, a header, 468 by 60 banner, you just, you can click upload. So if you want to upload the banner to your site, or a lot of affiliate programs have, they give you the banner, and the banners are hosted on their site. So you just type in the URL of the banner, and you can upload the banner and host it on your own site in the uploads folder, and then paste in your ClickBank hop link, and then just update, save all changes. And of course that has to be enabled. Going back to the font, I'm going to change it back to what I had it before. But you can change the color of the font, the size of the font. If you don't want to use a font, and you'd rather use a logo, like a header graphic, then you can upload one. But if you want to use the font, then make sure that's enabled. Styling options. Really, the only styling option here is to change the link color. So it's kind of a minor thing, but it's currently blue on all of them actually. But if you wanted it red, you could do that. So now that font will be a red color. You can kind of just play around with some of these features. I mean, they're relatively simple, and I try to keep them simple. You can add your analytics code, Google Analytics, or any other, stat counter or any other kind of analytic code. You can add it here. So you don't need a plugin for that, which is nice. Less plugins, the better. Content ad, I didn't really do anything with that, so you can experiment with that if you want. Add your AdSense code, but I have an AdSense plugin that I'll show you. Widget ads. These are ads in this section, but I'm using a widget for this. I'm not using this feature. So, and that's mainly, it's not worth really going into why, but you can use this feature. Once again, image location. Where's the image located? Is it on your server? Is it a URL given to you by an affiliate program? And then the destination link. It's all relatively straightforward. Dynamic images. Like I said, the thumbnails are currently set to 150 by 150. You can change that, 200 if you want bigger thumbnails, or even smaller. You can even have 200 by 100, so it's more rectangular. It's really up to you. But, once again, this site is using 150 by 150. So that's pretty much it. They're pretty simple, but I feel like you can do quite a bit with these. Most of you are familiar with premium themes and working around this stuff here. I'm going to go over widgets now, and then I'll go over the plugins like the slideshow plugin, AdSense plugin, etc. So go to widgets. Pardon me, I just had a A little sip of coffee. Right. So what we're using here are the add codes and add squares widgets, which are here. This is using the add codes, and these are using the add squares widget. That's using the add codes. Um, if you don't want to show as many posts as 10, then you can change that here to show 5 posts, or get rid of posts altogether and put more banners to optimize your sidebar, monetize your sidebar, I should say. For your add codes, once again, you want to look for the hop link. Now, if this looks a little bit confusing to you, what I recommend is you do a Control-C or right-click copy, open up a notepad file, and then paste that in there. And then it might be a little bit easier for you to swap out the hop link. Okay? So you want to make sure you swap out my hop link with your hop link, so if you get a sale, you get credit for it, obviously. And the same with the add squares. These are using 125 by 125 size banners. Now, once again, this is all really squished, so even for me, it's hard to see. So I just usually do a Control-C, open up a notepad file, paste that in there, and then I know that the hop link is the first, URL in this code. That's really all you have to do for these, is just swap out your hop link. You can use PHP in here if you wanted to. You could even rotate banners, but if you look on the documentation page, there's a link to all the different plugins. I recommend, if you, I think for this tutorial, I'm not going to go into how to rotate banners. You can read on how to do it, or go to the documentation page and go to where these banners, these plugins are located. Most of them are located on WordPress, but these two aren't, and these bottom two are premium plugins, so there's no link to them either. But you can, of course, go to Plugin Buddy's website and read up about Backup Buddy if you want a little bit more information. But I'll show you how to do that. So these two represent the two 125 by 125 banners. You can see that there. And of course, here's another banner. So you want to change out this hop link with your own. And that's pretty much it. The footers are using, at the moment, you can change this up, but the footers are using recent post pages and categories. So once again, if you want to add a calendar, or if you want to add links, to other sites of yours instead of recent posts, feel free to customize the blog, any way you like. There are too many options for me to go over. I could be here all day because I don't really know what each person's going to want to do with their blog. They might want to leave it just as is and just change out the hop links. Some might want to really dig into it and customize it. That's entirely up to you. Right. So what I want to do is go over adding AdSense, to the sidebar and to the tops of the posts. At the moment, the posts aren't particularly monetized. I don't like to necessarily have AdSense when I'm showing these blogs to people, because then I'll just get a bunch of impressions and it might look bad on my own AdSense. Before I do that, I'm going to go back to the theme options because I want to change this back. I don't want Malengo, I want this very bottom one. So to use AdSense, we're going to use, there are many different AdSense plugins out there. I have Quick AdSense is the plugin I'm using here, so I'm going to activate it first. The reason why it's deactivated is, once again, I don't want to show AdSense on these blogs when they're in this sort of demo phase where people are looking at them. So all you do is activate this plugin. Oops. And for some weird reason Okay, so the plugin is activated. We'll go to Quick AdSense in the Settings tab, Settings section, click Quick AdSense. Now, for example, if you want to have AdSense in your post, go back to a post. You know, maybe right here, you want to have like a 300 by 250 block AdSense ad unit, a link ad unit. Then for ads 1, you'll see up here, position ads 1 is beginning of the post. You can change that. That's what I like about this plugin is you can really kind of customize things. Can't really customize colors of AdSense, so that's the only. You have to kind of set it all up in AdSense. So just a quick mention on that. When you go to AdSense and you create your new ad unit, what I did was in AdSense. Go back to this post. Say for example you want to have AdSense that has a link color that matches your site, maybe this blue. I use an add-on for Firefox called Colorzilla, and you can see it's located here. Whoops, sorry about that. Didn't mean to do that. And Colorzilla puts a little icon, little eyedropper icon at the very bottom left of your browser window. So hopefully you can see this here. And when you click that, you get like a crosshair kind of, instead of a mouse pointer. Looks like a crosshair. So any color on a site, even if it's a link, you can go to that color and then click it, and then down here, double click it, and that's the color of wherever you clicked on the site. So I just find it a really handy add-on, especially as a web designer, for finding colors of a site. So now I can go to AdSense and I'll know what color that is, because I wrote it down here in a notepad file. That the link color, I want it to be that blue that's on my site. So as I'm creating an ad in AdSense, a link ad unit, I'll specify that I want the link color to be this color. You don't have to do that. It's just a sort of, one way to customize your AdSense colors to match your site if that's what you want to do. So anyway, I've got the 300 by 250 AdSense block prepared, and I'm going to paste it in here. Just Control V, and then if you want the same block, a 300 by 250 block of AdSense in your sidebar, maybe underneath this image, then ads on sidebar widget, ads widget 1, you'd paste your AdSense in there. So now I'm going to have ads, 300 by 250 AdSense block at the beginning of my post, because it pertains to ads 1. There's ads 1. And I'm going to have an AdSense widget available called AdSense widget 1, which will be the same AdSense code available for my sidebar. So just move this down. Click Save Changes. Okay, now I refresh the page. Okay, so there's my ads. There are my ads there. That wasn't supposed to appear yet. So I'm going to go back to widgets. But that showed up like it should. And normally, after you've added your AdSense code under Settings, Quick AdSense, you would then come to Appearance and Widgets, and then drag your AdSense tab widget to wherever you want it to appear on your blog. You might want it at the very top. So you can put your AdSense, your ads widget 1 here just by dragging it over. I'll refresh this page quickly. And now your ads appear at the very top in the sidebar. So personally, I'd probably put it underneath the banner. You see, my personal feelings about these blogs in terms of monetization, it's great to have AdSense. I've got AdSense on a lot of other sites of mine, but I don't rely on AdSense as my big money makers. I'm not saying you can't make tons of money with AdSense. Of course you can, but I think for the purpose of these niche blogs, um, you know, you'll probably make more money from ClickBank or some sort of affiliate product, something from Commission Junction or Neverblue or whatever. Um, that's just my personal opinion. But it's nice to have AdSense. But I would focus more on the banners doing the selling. But that's just me. Um, Now let's see. I'm gonna just look at some other plugins. Once again, if you go to the documentation page that comes with the in the README Now text README Now folder, README First folder, sorry, and you double click that, then you'll open up this page and you can read about the different plugins. Um, you know, it's pretty obvious, I suppose, but you just have a play around. If you want to add videos, or you can create an extra slideshow, so you can have maybe a 300 by 200 slideshow similar to this using different images, and you can put that in your sidebar. Um, so, speaking of the slideshow plugin, I'm going to show that to you now. Now, if you want to use this theme on a different blog, say you have a personal blog or an Amazon blog or whatever, you want to use this theme, take advantage of the different colors and stuff, and you want to use this theme in its current functionality, meaning it's got this featured slider here, it's got the custom post type, then you'll want to not only include the theme itself, upload the theme itself. I'll just go to you'll want to include the slideshow plugin and the custom post plugin. So I have two instances of the plugins here, of the theme and plugins. If you upload through FTP, then you can just upload the slideshow custom post template plugins to the plugins folder on in your plugins folder on your server, and then of course just upload this to your themes folder. If you want to upload these two plugins through WordPress, then you need the zip files, and then WordPress will unzip them, and then of course you upload the theme. So these need to work in conjunction. These two plugins, one theme file, in order to make it look, like the theme. If you don't include the slideshow, this will not appear here, and all these 5 posts will just move upwards and fill this space. So this will actually disappear. And the product review, the custom post, won't work either unless you have the custom post template. Okay? Or you can upload these two to through File Manager and extract them. Once you've uploaded to the plugins folder, upload the theme, extract that in the themes folder. And then the theme should work, but it won't just look like this out of the gate. You have to configure, you have to add the images for the slideshow, which I'll show you how to do now. So if we go to Display Buddy and then Slideshow, you'll notice this is the group name that I called Bodybuilding Techniques. This shortcode here pertains to this image slider feature right here. So, for example, if you accidentally deleted this and you start a new one, you start a new slideshow, then it'll automatically, the very first slideshow you create will automatically have be this shortcode. So it'll appear right there. But if let's say you add another group, add group, you call it something like, maybe you're highlighting a product and you have some images of the product and you want to use the sliding feature, but you want to put it here in the sidebar, then you create a new group, give it a new group name like a new product maybe, and then add the group, something like that, and then and then the new shortcode will probably say PB underscore slideshow group equals 1 or something. And then you can put that in the sidebar. But this one here, that group equals 0, will always be here, just in this specific spot. Not that you can't, if you're familiar and comfortable with shortcodes, not that you can't take this shortcode and include this inside one of your posts. You could do that. So you could actually have this slideshow at the very top of a post, for example. But I don't want to get too technical because most people probably won't mess with it. But if you edit the group, you'll see the two images. You can add more images. So if you're like, if you want 5 images that are rotating, then just click Add Image. Just something quickly to show you. Let's just assume this is a third image I'm uploading. The caption is what shows here. This is your caption. So as you add an image through WordPress, just make sure you have a caption for that image. All right. Now you can also link these. So if I want to edit this image, for example, you might have slides of screenshots of websites. So say, for example, you had a screenshot of the Add Muscle website, or a screenshot of the TacFit Commando website instead of these muscle builders. Then you can have those images link to that site. So you just type in for link URL, you just type in your hop link. So then, and then of course save all changes. So then when people are on the site, if they click the image, right now it's not clickable, then it'll go to this website or wherever you set the URL. So you can actually hyperlink the images. Some of these slideshow or sliding featured image plugins, you can only link to the post or to the image itself, but here you can link to wherever you want to link to. So it can go to an external website. It's currently set at 580 by 300 pixels. You can change those dimensions, but I feel like that works nicely with the whole site. But you can make it taller. But just keep in mind that the images themselves are actually 580 by 300. So if you make it a taller, like you might want to make it more of a square, 580 by 580, then make sure your images are at least that size. Otherwise it's going to look funny. They might get stretched or something. Now it's currently showing an animation effect of fold. So it's showing like, I guess that's a fold where the slices are moving from left to right. Of course it should have done it by now. My internet can definitely be so sorry about this delay. There you go. That's a fold. You could have slice down. Click Save Settings. Once again, this is something you may or may not want to do, so I encourage you to just kind of play around with the different settings. So that's a slice down effect. You could have it random, so it just sort of rotates between all these different effects, but I currently have it on fold. You can change the opacity of this bit here. Right now this is an 80% opacity, so you can kind of see through a little bit, which is kind of a nice effect. But you can make it 50% opacity, but then just keep in mind that that the font color is white. So if it's too bright and it's against a white background, it might not show very well. So that's on 80%. You can change the animation speed. I'll just move this down a little bit. Change the animation speed, time between frames, between slides, etc. Then you just click Save Settings. So hopefully that's, you can shift this, you can reorder these. It doesn't really matter with 2 images, but say you had 10 images and you thought, oh, you know what, I want this image to be at the top. You could just move this up here, or whichever image you like to show first. Like I said, with just 2 images I wouldn't bother, but if you had 5 or more or 4 or more, then you can reorder them, which is kind of a nice feature. And once again, this is a premium plugin. I paid $200 for the uh, Plugin Buddy suite, which includes Backup Buddy and Display Buddy. But I'm giving them to you guys for free, which of course I have the right to do. I've already contacted iThemes twice just to double confirm. I'm going to show you quickly backups because this to me is one of the biggest features of these blogs, other than the blogs themselves. Um, you know, let's say you're a site flipper, and or someone sees your site and they want to buy it or whatever, and all you have to do is click create full backup, and you can download. I guess you can. I haven't tried it this way, but you need the import buddy.php, basically just how you installed these. So say you did a bunch of configuring, and then you went to sell this on Flippa. You changed images or added images, added more articles and content, and then someone buys your site. There's no more fear of trying to get the blog to them and install it on their server. It's so easy, just like you installed this one. You click full backup, and when it produces that blog zip file, you give them the blog zip and the import buddy.php script, or you do it for them, and that's it. So you can also schedule backups. So if you don't plan to sell, but you plan to add a lot of content, schedule backups to download the full backup to your domain or to an email. So it's brilliant in that respect. I think that's about it. I could go on and on and on, but I know how it is when you're watching these videos, and if you have any questions, I think I've pretty much covered the basics. Um, just go back over the video or write me an email if there's something specific that you'd like to know about. The main thing is changing out your hop link information. Um, you know, on all these banners, anywhere where you see a banner, you might want to make sure that you change out the hop link information. When you go to your PLR blogs documentation, um, or your documentation page, there's a ClickBank hop link encoder. So say you've installed the affiliate marketing blog, Deadbeat Super Affiliate, and you want to change out the hop link, you can either just put your ID here. So you would just take this URL and replace your ID with yours, and that'll work. But if you want to encode your hop link so it's a bit more, so people can't see, oh, that's your ID, then for example, my ID is UK Creative, oops, and the vendor nickname is Profit Zon. So copy that, paste that there, encode, and now here's my encoded hop link. So I can use that to replace all instances of Deadbeat Super Affiliate on the affiliate marketing blog. So that's just an example. So have a good read on this page, this documentation page, and I think that is about it. Just quick once more. Yep, that's it. So once again, if you have any questions, I apologize for this being a long video, but there was a lot to cover. Um, then please feel free to let me know, ask any questions, and I'll help you out as much as I can. Thanks very much.